Hamas was founded in the Gaza Strip in 1987, at the outset of the First Intifada, a period of intense Palestinian protest against Israeli occupation. Its name is an Arabic acronym for Islamic Resistance Movement. 20 years earlier, in 1967, Israel had occupied Gaza and the West Bank. So Hamas emerged in response to Zionist settler colonization and the ongoing Israeli occupation of Palestine. It is a national Islamist movement and has been at the forefront of armed resistance in the occupied territories. Hamas sees itself as a national liberation movement fighting Israel. It has used guerrilla tactics and violence, often against civilians. Hamas' official history claims that its roots go back to Palestinian militancy in the 1930s. Many historians, however, argue that Hamas grew out of the Muslim Brotherhood, an organization founded in Egypt in the 1920s. At least in part, the creation of Hamas is also the result of Israeli intelligence maneuvers. In the late 1970s, Israel helped fund Islamic charities and educational organizations in Gaza. In doing so, it followed a traditional US policy in the Middle East, which the US continues to pursue today, to contain or even eliminate secular Arab nationalism by supporting Islamist movements. During that period, Hamas's main rival in Gaza was Fatah, a secular nationalist social democratic party led by Yasser Arafat. Fatah was also the backbone of the Palestine Liberation Organization (PLO), which was established in the mid-1960s as the official representative of the Palestinians. In the 1980s, Israel helped build an Islamic educational and charitable infrastructure in Gaza to counterbalance Fatah's influence on the local population. Hamas rejected the secular Palestinian parties under the umbrella of the PLO and emphasized religion. The national, class and imperial conflict was reinterpreted as a religious conflict. In the mid-1990s, Israel and the PLO signed two peace agreements that provided for a two-state solution. Hamas was one of the few Palestinian factions to criticize the very principle of negotiating with Israel. It rejected the Oslo Accords. Hamas accused the PLO of treason, refused to recognize Israel, and vowed to continue armed resistance. In 1996, Benjamin Netanyahu became Prime Minister of Israel. His right-wing Likud government returned to the policy of supporting Hamas. The goal was to prevent the unified political representation of the Palestinians by cultivating two antagonistic local leaderships, Hamas in Gaza and Fatah in the West Bank. A lack of political unity among Palestinians, the thinking went, would weaken the case for a sovereign Palestinian state. In 2000, Palestinians in the occupied territories launched the Second Intifada. Hamas played a prominent role during this period of heightened violence and protest. The uprising ended in 2005. The same year, Israeli Prime Minister Ariel Sharon announced full disengagement from Gaza. Israel withdrew all of its troops. The move also marked the end of Israeli settlements that had sprung up after the 1967 war. The strategy was to further isolate Gaza from the West Bank and control Gaza from the outside. Then came 2006. Hamas won an outright majority in parliamentary elections. After ousting Fatah officials, the group took full control of Gaza the following year. Hamas's success was largely the result of the failed Oslo peace process. Fatah's path to a two-state solution through negotiations proved to be a dead end. The Oslo peace accords had provided the basis for the unfettered expansion of Israeli settlements in the occupied West Bank. The peace process had brought more Israeli colonization. The Palestinian Authority, or PA, that had emerged from the negotiations acted as an extension of the occupation. Its collaboration with Israel and the corruption of PA officials were rejected by the majority of Palestinians. Widespread popular disappointment with the Oslo peace process played into the hands of Hamas. Israel responded to the Hamas electoral victory in 2006 with a complete sea, land and air blockade of the Gaza Strip. Movement between Gaza and the West Bank became nearly impossible. Israel and the US refused to cooperate with Hamas. The group was isolated as a terrorist organization by the US and the EU. Sanctions against Hamas and the people of Gaza followed. A 2007 WikiLeaks cable revealed that Israel's former military intelligence chief viewed a Hamas takeover of Gaza as positive. It would allow Israel to treat Gaza as a hostile entity. At a meeting of his Likud party in 2019, Prime Minister Netanyahu came to the same conclusion. He reportedly said that, quote, anyone who wants to thwart the establishment of a Palestinian state has to support bolstering Hamas and transferring money to Hamas, unquote. Since 2007, Israel has gone to war with Hamas 5 times, the most recent of which we are currently witnessing. We should not forget, however, that all of this is not about Hamas. It's about the Palestinian people and their resistance to Zionism, to a violent settled colonial project aimed at the occupation of Palestine and the expulsion of its indigenous population.